All right, can't talk football no more. We got to talk math. I'm recording, so. All right. Get your calculators out because we're going to be using the calculators. Yeah. And we're going to be working with the power of compounding. Now, we talked about simple interest last time, and simple interest I told you was kind of like loaning your friend or family member some money and letting them actually pay you for borrowing that money. I'm going to just go ahead and write a simple interest down. A friend borrows, or not borrows, but uses, asks you to give him or her $2,000. And you do that on agreement of 10% simple interest at the end of the year. So that's going to be 2,000 times what? 0.10, which is 10%, which is 200. So at the end of a year, they owe you what?
2,200.
2,200. That's simple interest. Now, simple interest can also be done like I told you. My dad would sell a piece of property to somebody, and he would take payments, and he would do it on simple interest. Now, how he would do that is he would sell a piece of property at $6,000. I think I said 6,000 last time, and 25% interest after 6 years. Okay? So he would do $6,000 times 20% interest, so that's 600, 600, and 300, which is 600, 600 is 1,200 plus, that's 1,500. So at the end of 6 years, or during 6 years, you would take $7,500 and divide it by, what's 12 times 6? 72? And somebody take a calculator. What is 7,500 divided by 72? 105 bucks. That's good enough. So they would pay my father 105 bucks a month, and at the end of 6 years, or what I say, 6 years. At the end of 6 years, he would give him the deed to the property. See what I'm saying? So it can be done as a loan. Or it can be done, you can sell a person a car, or sell a person a house, or sell a person a piece of land, or whatever. So that's simple interest. Simple interest is when you just multiply the interest times and then disperse it out. Now, could you do this? Could this person pay you in payments? Yes. Divide 2,200 by 12. And what do you get?
183.
So they pay you 183, and at the end of 12 months, they don't owe you anything. Everybody see what I'm saying? Or at the end of the 12 months, they give you $2,200. So you can do it however you want to. Now that's simple interest. Make sure you know how to do simple interest, because that is a question on the test. Maybe one or two questions. Compound interest. What is compound interest? Well, that's what the banks do. Okay? Compound interest, and we'll write this down. I think we already talked about this a little bit. There's simple interest and then compound interest. And I'm looking for the formula. And there it is. All right, now remember this book dummies down everything. So we're not going to use this formula. All right? We're going to use the formula that you use in all your books. Okay? We're not going to use this. We're not going to use that. Okay, we're going to use A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT power. Okay, that's how you do compound interest. Now, what are all these things? Well, A is the balance. P is the principal, what you put in. APR, we're going to change that to R, meaning rate. That's usually a decimal or a percentage. And we're going to change T to the number of years, and N is equal to the number of times it's compounded. The number of times it's compounded. So if it's done 4 times a year, that's quarterly. If it's done 12 times a year, that's monthly. If it's done 365 times a year, that's daily. If it's done semi-annually, that's 2 times a year, so N would be 2. Okay, so, and we'll see that as we do more and more questions. All right, so, in this case, N is equal to 1. Okay, this formula is N is equal to 1. Therefore, N times T is what? T, and that's where they come up with the Y. This is when N is equal to 1. And I'm not giving you a formula for N is equal to 1, and then when N is not equal to 1. That's giving you 2 formulas to memorize, which is stupid. Okay? So, I'm giving you the formula that's used in all business books, not this stupid book. Okay? So, let's look at this question. All right, look at that. You invest $100 in 2 accounts that each pay an interest rate of 10% per year, but one pays simple interest and another pays compound interest. Make a table to show the growth of each. I'm not going to do the table because I don't have enough room and it shows it on the next one. All right, and you don't have to do this, but they're just trying to show you something. There is simple interest. What are you doing? What are you doing on your phone?
Looking at the house.
Oh, okay. Just want to know if you're paying attention. Don't ask questions after class when you, okay. All right, so at the end, here's the interest paid, $10 or 10% at $100, and that's the due balance, and then you take that down here, 110 plus 10, 120 plus 20, 120, blah, blah, blah. Look at the compound interest. What do you make? You make about what? $11 more. Compound interest is better. That's why banks use it. All right? Usually at a bank, when you put something in the savings account or IRA, they're going to run it through compound interest or some form of continuous interest or compound interest. They're not going to do simple interest because people wouldn't put money in bank if they did simple interest. All right? So, again, why do you have simple interest? Because simple is when you loan out money. Compound is when you're talking about banks and other things, okay? So I'm not going to ask you to do that, but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Wait just a second. We're going to get, like I say, the book. Okay, here we go. Show how quarterly compound affects a $1,000 investment, $8 8% per year. Quarterly. That means N is equal to what? 4. Okay? So you're putting in $1,000, so P, and this is the kind of test question I would give you. All right? P is equal to 1,000. R is equal to 4. T is equal to 1 because it says per year. Doesn't say that you're keeping it in there for 5 years. They just want to know per year. And R is equal to what? 0.08. Make sure you change the percent into a decimal. Now we're going to plug each other. A is equal to 1,000 times 1 plus R over N raised to the N times T power, which is 1. Now, the biggest thing about doing this is how to use a calculator. Now, I want everybody to pay attention here because this is what's going to get you. I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator and pull it up. I thought I had it pulled up. Sorry, I had it pulled up in the last class. I must have exited out of it. All right, there we go. So what do? You work your way inside out. So I'm going to take 0.08 divided by what? 4. Add 1. Raised to the what? 4th power. And multiply by $1,000. So at the end of the year, I've got $1,082. And that's what I just did right there. Now see, they're teaching you to do it by hand. I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. We're going straight to the end. Okay? Question. Okay, so that's the answer. So at the end of a year, if you put $1,000 in the bank and they pay you 8% per year, which they used to pay until 2000 recession, and now they pay like 0.2%. Now you don't get any money for, it used to be 8-9%, which sucks because you don't get anything now. Here's the formula that we're using. That's why I'm not going to give you 2 formulas to use. A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT power. All right, we're not going to, don't write that down again. Just write down the one I gave you. All right. Here's an idea. Here's one right here. Write this question down. You deposit $5,000 in a bank account that pays an APR, that pays a rate of 3% and compounds interest what? Monthly. So you need to highlight that monthly, and that tells you N is equal to what? 12. So take your handy dandy highlighter and put in yellow, N is equal to 12. Because when you see that compound interest monthly, that tells you if it said quarterly, if it said daily, if it said semi-annually, that would tell you what N is equal to. Annually, how much money will you have after 5 years? So I'm going to take my handy dandy green highlighter and my green marker, and T is equal to 5. My P is equal to 1, or P is right here. And my R is equal to 0.03. So I've got everything there. Now you need to plug it in and run it through your calculator. Now I'm talking about 20% of your test here. So you need to be able to use that calculator because that's what you're supposed to use. And you need to be able to go from inside out and not do it any other way, because if you do it any other way, you're probably going to get screwed up and miss the problem. So, take my handy dandy calculator. And I'll clear it, and I'm going to say, okay, R over N. So 0.03 divided by 12 equals plus 1 equals raised, what's 5 times 12? Raised to the 60th power times 5,000. Write that down, 5808. And there's your answer, 5808. Okay? Question on that one? No questions? Y'all don't have any questions whatsoever?
When we do it on our test, do we have to put like percent?
Have to what?
Like you're just putting like dollar numbers, like whole numbers. Do we have to put the cent?
Yeah, you have to put the cents, yeah. Go ahead and write this down because you're going to see some questions about this. I don't test you on this, but you're going to see some homework questions on it. It's called the annual percentage yield. Okay? The annual percentage yield. The annual percentage yield is equal to the APR if interest is compounded annually. Okay? Which is not going to be annually all the time. APY is greater than APR if it's more than 1 year. Now they give you a formula. They don't give you, they just give you, okay. That's not the question I'm thinking about. Okay, let's go on to this. This is continuous. So right now, there's 3 interest formulas that you should know. Simple interest, compound interest, and continuous interest. Remember, PERT. A is equal to PERT. You're not going to worry about this because this book is stupid. A is equal to PERT. Used to be a shampoo a long time ago. Big old green bottle, PERT. People that used to make Prel, remember Prel? That was see-through green. I remember that when I was a kid. Anyway, the same people that made Prel made PERT. And it was a different form of, I don't know why I'm talking about it. But anyway, P is the principal, R is the rate, T is the number of years, and E is the constant on your calculator. So look at this example. You deposit $100 in an account with an APR or R of 8%. So let's write down everything. P is equal to $100. R is equal to 0.08. And T is equal to 10. So A is equal to 100 times E to the 10 or 0.08 times 10. So we're going to take our handy dandy calculator out. And somebody tell me what happens when you multiply a decimal times 10. You move it to the right one time, so that'd be 0.8, not 0.08. So I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator, and I'm going to say E. Where is E? It's right here above the natural log symbol, right here near the 4. So I'm going to type in 100 times, and I'm going to use parentheses, second natural log, and then I'm going to type in 0.8. Close print, oops, not those parentheses. Delete. Hit to the right. There we go. Parentheses. All right, everybody look at the way I type that in. 100 times parentheses E, and then it'll automatically send you up to the exponent. Type in 0.8 or 5 or 10 or whatever, and then move over to the right one time, and that'll put it back on the bottom line and hit parentheses. And what did y'all get? You should have got 222.55. Who's got a question? So these questions right now are just reading and plugging and chugging. That's all it is. So you shouldn't miss these on the test. If you do, you don't what? You don't tell anybody. Exactly. Question on this one. Now for the depressing chapter. Y'all ready for the depressing chapter? Yes, Hubert. Thank you, class, for interacting. I appreciate that. It's always nice to have a class that interacts. Yeah, it is. Why aren't y'all talking today? What's the matter with y'all? Nothing, Hubert. I watched Venom this weekend on Fire Stick. It's pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. But I like Tom Hardy, so as long as he don't get political, we'll be all right. He starts saying stupid stuff, I'm not going to watch his movies anymore. All right, 6D for depression. No? Shouldn't be. What is 6C? Did we do 6C? No. 4C. 4. Not 6. Dork. 4C. What's C? I don't remember C. And it's not coming up. There it is. Managing money. Oh, yeah. This is savings. I forgot about savings. All right. Look at that monster. Go ahead and write it down. Now, don't write APR. Write R, little r. And this is NT, R over N. So, this is a savings plan. What does this mean? This means that you're putting in a payment. And write that down to the side of savings plan. Putting in a payment. Paying a payment. So if I pay $250 for my 401k a month, blah, 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 what will it equal? Okay? You're putting in a monthly what? Payment. Or you having a deduction out of your paycheck, which I would highly suggest to everyone. I don't care how small it is. So change that to R. Change that to a T. Change that to an R. And now you've got what all other books use. So A is equal to P. And you can call that payment if you want to. You put pay times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT power minus 1 over R over N. Question. Now, the reason you need to make sure you understand what this is asking is because they're going to ask you how much you're going to get when you make a monthly payment, and then they're going to ask you how much of a payment do you need to make in order to get this end result. So you need to know which formula is which. Okay? This is when you know how much you're what? Putting in per month. So you need to make that distinction in your notes. Because out of all the stuff that I teach, this is where students, in 103, this is where students get confused in this section. So, here is the question. And I'm just going to move this over. I hope I can. Up there. It says, use the savings plan formula to calculate balance after 6 months for an APR of 12% and monthly payments of $100. So that's going to be equal to 100 parentheses 1 plus 0.12 divided by what? Well, monthly payments means what? What is N? 12 raised to the NT power. N is what? 12. What is T? 0.5. That's where I get you. On a test, that's where I'm going to get you. Why did I put in 0.5? Half a year. And that's what's going to get you. So make sure you make a note of this. That 0.5 corresponds with what? Half a year. Now you need to type all that into the calculator. Now, can you type it in all together? Yes. In steps, it would be easier. Okay, now I'm going to do it on the calculator so you can see how it's done. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you again. The first 2 or 3 sections of this unit is not how smart you are, but how well you can do what? Use your calculator and read. So here we go. What am I going to do first? Well, I'm going to do the up here numerator first. Here we go. 0.12 divided by what? 12, Hubert. That's right, class. Plus what? Plus 1, Hubert. That's right, class. Raised to the what? What's half of 12? 6. So my numerator is 1.06. Now what am I going to do with it now? I'm going to divide it by parentheses 0.12 divided by what? 12. Now I know a lot of people say, well, Hubert, why don't you just say that's 0.01? Because it's not always going to be the same. 12 and 0.12, it's not always going to be that way. Okay? Hit enter. And now I'm going to multiply that by what? 100. So at the end of 6 months, okay? 12%, you're going to make a lot of money. Okay? $10,615.21. Now, the reason I had to stop there for a minute is because that's a lot of money for 6 months. But what kind of percentage rate you got? 12%. That's pretty big. That's pretty stout. You won't have anything that night right now. If you did that, no. Well, that's not going to happen. Okay, so let's check. Okay, I did something totally wrong. I knew that number didn't act right. 12 times 0.5. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to minus 1. I'm sorry. My bad. I suck. So let me minus 1. I didn't put it right here. Minus 1. Appreciate y'all telling me that. Thank you for your interaction. Okay, what's wrong? We're not going on until y'all tell me what's wrong. Y'all just gonna sit here and not talk to me.
I mean, it's good to talk mostly here, so that's probably
Well, let me go back and do that because I put it right here, but I didn't put it over here, so I messed up. I knew that was awfully high. I sat there and looked. I said, 10,000? That's not right. So let me go back. Okay, let me go back. 0.12 divided by 12 equals plus 1 equals raised to the 6th power, raised to the 6th power minus what? 1. And that kind of helps. That's 0.06. Now I'm going to divide that by parentheses 0.12 divided by 12 close parentheses, equals, that's much better, times 100. 615.20. That should be what they got. So I left out one little part. I knew something wasn't right. That's why I went ahead and checked it. I knew something wasn't right, and I forgot one little part. You see why people jump out of their offices in New York? One little mistake, and guess what? It's not good, Hubert. That's right, class. I go from one extreme to the other. I go from one extreme, everybody shut up, to the other extreme is what? They talk all the time. And I mean that in our class. I go from one extreme to the other. Okay. Yeah, thank you, class. Okay, y'all suck. We're not going to talk about it, but go ahead and write down what annuities are, or make a note, make sure you know what annuities are. Any series of equal regular payments. Ordinary annuity is a savings plan in which you pay at the end of each what? Month. Everything pretty much is based on monthly payments. Okay? Very rarely do you see, well, you're going to make 2 payments a year. That's very rare. Where do you see every 6 months? Insurance. Paying for your insurance, like car insurance, you pay every 6 months. Yeah, it's a whole lot easier. 6 months, my trucks and cars is like $1,200, and I have to send that money in. I'm like, but as soon as I drop my insurance, I'll have a wreck. Annuity due is a plan which payments are made at the beginning of each period. Future value of annuity is what you get at future date. And present value is what it's worth now. So you just need to write. The reason you need to write some of these definitions down, not that I'm going to test you, but for what? Real world. Especially when we get to the income tax. You really need to know what this stuff means, because nobody has taught it to you before. Because we want you to be stupid. You would like to retire 25 years from now and have a retirement fund which would draw an income of $500 per year forever. This is where you need to see how much payment you need. Now, make a note of this question. This is the other question. This is the question that asks you, what's the monthly payment? Okay? And write down and highlight that word forever. Forever, ever? Because that's the key word. How can you do it? Monthly payment. How can you do it? It's going to be about $1,500 a month. But you got that money to throw away, don't you? $1,500 a month. That's a dang old nice payment on something, a house or a nice car or something. You just put it away for later. I have a hard time. You know, in all relationships, well, I don't have a relationship, so I'm just me. And that's why I don't have any money, because I'm a spender. Okay? There's always the spender and the miser. Now, if you're in a relationship and both of you are spenders, you're in trouble. Okay? But usually, we attract opposites. Usually, the spender attracts the miser, or the miser attracts the spender. Now, my ex was the miser. When it was her money, she was a miser. Okay? Let me just say it that way. All right? She could keep her birthday money. She would get like $200 or $300 or $100 or $50, and she would have it the next year.
Oh, so that's the person that's...
Miser is the one that keeps their money.
Okay, so if they keep their money...
They're miser.
But if they spend somebody else...
They're a spender. Oh, yeah, she spent my money, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, To make a long story short, I'm the spender. Okay? If I won the lottery, $10 million, and I took home $10 million, I could have it spent by the time I got back from Columbia. Now, a lot of people say, what on? Well, see, I would buy a lot of stuff. I'd buy a bunch of cows, and then I'd buy a trailer, and then I'd buy a truck, and then I'd buy a couple of tractors, and then I'd buy a couple of bulldozers and stuff like that to do the farm with. That's what I buy. I buy stuff like that, okay? And then I get rid of all the junk that I got on the farm right now that keep tearing apart. Like Neil, he has stuff that tears apart all the time. Yeah. So, that's what I would spend it on. I wouldn't go out and buy me a brand new truck, put $1 million in the console, and go to the strip club and get beat up and get my truck stole from me, like that guy in Texas did. Stupid. And it took about an hour when he went into the strip club. He was probably throwing around $100 bills. So what do you think's going to happen? Somebody's going to beat you up when you go out to the parking lot if you're throwing away $100 bills. That guy happened. He lost $1 million in one night. Dumb butt. Anyway. What?
I don't know. Why do you go to a strip club?
Because men are stupid.
I know, but he could have got an escort service.
Men are stupid.
That's one place I've noticed I've never been.
Escort is like way better than a strip club.
I went to strip clubs when I was at Camp Lejeune, and that is not the place you want to go and visit a strip club, because it is the bottom of the barrel of the world, and I wasn't impressed. All right, so what do you do first on this problem? First thing you got to do is find the lump sum to get paid $5,500 or $50,000 per year for the rest of your life. That's going to be a BA lump sum. All right, write down that. Find BA lump sum. Now, when you see the word forever, that's when you got to do this step. If you don't see the word forever, then you can just plug it in. All right, so here it is. Here's how you do it. Right there. You take the 50,000, what you want, and you divide it by that 0.07, which is right there, the APR of 7%. You take what you want per year, and you divide that by the R, by the rate. So somebody do that. What do you get? What do you get when you take 50,000 and divide by 0.07? It's going to be a BA amount into the millions. Okay, I'll do it.
Is that not it right there?
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. It's close to $1 million. It's 700,000. I didn't even see it. I don't look at these things. 50,000 divided by 0.07. When I write notes, sometimes like in my trick class, I write notes and I leave them on the desk. I don't even read them. I don't know why I write them. Anyway. All right, so that is your P. Write that down as P. BAP, BAP. BA principal. You got to have a BA principal. Why? Because you're going to be drawing off of it for the rest of your what? Life. Now, if you are 65 years old, chances are you're not going to live very much longer. Okay? So it's not like you're going to live 100 years. You're not going to be paid 100 years. The chances are, what's the average age of men? 78 or something like that? Somebody look it up right quick. Somebody. What's the average age of males right now? 76?
Like
79. This went up. I remember when I was a kid, it was like 72 or 78, 76. So it's going up. Okay? So if you're 65, then you're probably talking about what? 15 more years? Yeah. 65, yeah, about 15 more years pulling in. And I wouldn't mind pulling in 50,000 a year for doing nothing. But that's what the 401k is for. That's what the retirement is for. That's why you make good decisions. You don't go out after high school and say, I'm going to build me a career being a cashier at Walmart. Doesn't work that way. The way it works is you go out, you get a job to work your way through high school, work your way through Tri-County Tech, work your way through college, wherever you want to go, unless you're given the money. Anybody in here given an inheritance to go to school? Okay. All right. Then you pick a degree that you what? Can get a job with. You don't pick underwater firefighting in Anderson County to get a job, especially when there ain't no water around here and you don't have fires underwater. Okay? Second of all, you don't pick a college that you can't afford. Oh, well, I would really like to go to Yale. Well, the people in Hades want ice water. Okay? You have to pick what? What you can afford. You have to pick what you can travel to, and you have to pick, the degree program. Now, nursing, great degree, but it will get flooded one day. So you don't pick it when it's flooded. All right? Same thing with mechatronics. Okay? Right now, everybody's wanting people in mechatronics. Okay? Which is how to work. I don't even know what it is, like robotics and stuff. Ain't that what it is? Anybody know? Look up mechatronics. I think it's like robotics and industry. Okay? What is mechatronics? Somebody look it up.
Technology combining electronics and mechanical engineering.
Yeah, mechatronics. That's where you dang old take machines and dang on electronics and put it together. All right? Now, if I was telling my son what to do, I would say, of course, they won't listen because, your parents are stupid. Okay? So I told my daughter, I said, go 2 years at Tri-County, get all the general education courses, and then transfer to Clemson, transfer wherever you want to with a degree, so therefore you're accepted without any problem. Did she do it? No. She went and spent most of her scholarship money down at what? College of Charleston. Now, when she's coming up to Clemson, she's done used her money up down at College of Charleston. Now she's got to put in for student loans. Okay? Did she make a bad decision? Not really. She made a less than desirable decision because she could have deferred the scholarship until her what? Junior and what? Senior year. But nobody listens to me. I'm one of those stupid parents. So I'm going to tell my son. Now, my son is very mechanically inclined. So am I going to tell him to go into nursing? No. I'm going to say, look, you might want to think about mechanical engineering or mechatronics. You don't have to get a 4-year degree to make money in mechatronics. And I would tell him that. Again, good decisions. Now, what does that have to do with this? When you get a job or you become very rich, one of the two, all right? Let's say you win the lottery. You don't go to the strip club, okay, with all the money that you won in the console of the new truck that you bought. You put half of that money away, just like you do your paycheck. Your paycheck, you're going maybe 20% of it's going to go to taxes. So what do you do with the rest of it? Well, 10% of it you need to put into a 401k or a savings account. All right? Why? Because when you get through working 20-something years, that's going to come into a nice nest egg. You also want to get a job somewhere that they have benefits, not only health benefits, but they also have what? Insurance, and also have what? A retirement. That's why a lot of people want to go to work for the state and the federal government because they have good retirement systems, which means that at the end of your 25 years or whenever you retire, you're going to get a check, which is pretty much half of your paycheck to 3/4 of your paycheck that you're pulling out now for the rest of your life. Okay? Again, it begins with good decisions. This is a good decision. Now, is this outlandish? Yes. Okay? I guarantee you it's going to come up to be around $1,500 a month. But let's see what happens. Y'all look like y'all are not listening to a word I'm saying. Okay. Y'all going to talk to me, and you know what? When y'all decide to talk to me, it's going to be what? Too late. So, and don't expect me to be nice either, because I've warned you. And there it is. What does it come out to be? $1,000 a month. $882 a month. And see, notice what we did with, why is it 715,000? Well, it's just like engineering. Are you gonna put 714,000 in, or are you gonna put 715,000? You're gonna put 715,000, 720,000, because you want extra, okay? When you retire, you don't want exactly 714,000, you want more than that. So, and you're probably not talking about $6 to $10 difference in the payment. So, it's going to be $885 a month. Now, if you go to work somewhere and your paycheck is, and you're single, no family, okay, and you're making $3,500 a month, yes, that's doable. Okay? Again, depending on what your degree program is in. If you go into parks and recreation, which is okay, but do they pay a lot to manage a hotel? No. And I hate to say this, and you can get mad at me when I say it. What determines how much you make in a degree program? Anybody want to take a stab? The more what? The more math and science you have in a degree program, the more money you're going to make. You can get mad at me if you want to, but that's the way it is. Okay, write this one down. New minus old over old. I told you this before. Percentage change is the same thing as total return. Percentage change. New minus old over old multiplied by 100. And y'all know this from the first unit. New minus old over old. Now they say A minus P over P, but it's new minus old over old. Multiply by 100. Annual return. Write that down. It's a very simple formula. You just have to have it in your notes for your test. A over P raised to the 1 over T power. So it was 10 years, it'd be raised to the 1/10th power, minus 1. So that whole conglomeration, so like $50,000 divided by $5,000 raised to the 1/10th power. That's your minus 1, and that's equal to the annual return. Here's an example. You invest $3,000 in Clearwater mutual funds. Over 4 years, your investment grows to a value of $8,400. So that's going to be $3,000 is your principal, and $8,400. So it's going to be $8,400 over 30 or over 3,000. But you got to subtract your initial. Well, they're doing it down here. $8,400 minus 3,000. That's new minus old over old, and then multiply by 100. So you've got 180% return on your money. Good? Yes. Now they're going to do the 1 over, or A, that's where they take the 8,400 over 3,000. There it is. Over 4 years, so you had about a 30% return rate. Oh gosh, we gotta go. It's time for class to be over. Let's see how many more. We got a lot more to go over. Yeah. All right, let's call it a day since y'all are being so interactive today.